Ahoy, mateys! 'Tis I, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, and I be here to tell you about me newest crowdfunding campaign. The adventures continue with me crew, the Mighty Mascots, in issues 7, 8, and 9. Just focus your looking glass on the amazing artwork of Ian Warianto and Anton Bondi. Me crew, the Mighty Mascots, are up against some scurvy scallywags, and we need ye help to defeat them. There be a bounty of exclusive treasure, only available here, where X marks the spot. I spy a huge coffer of bonuses and stretch goals on the horizon. Then please consider pledging so we can continue these adventures with the weirdest crew I ever had the pleasure of sailing with. Mascots Unleash!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Surrounded by Death, and Sartana. What's up, buddy?
Mascots Unleash!
I love
that.
How's it going, buddy? I know we got to keep the upfront talk to a minimum because we got a couple of guests on on time crunch tonight.
Yeah, we have a jam-packed guest list tonight.
My God, it's crazy, dude, how many people we have tonight. So,
which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
It's great. I love it. Like the show's getting crazier and crazier. I love it. One of these guys I go way back with too, which is great to see him. What happened? Uh-oh. What the heck happened here? I lost Johnny. Well, when he comes back, so in the meantime, let me share this while I wait for Johnny to come back here. So Mighty Mascots, we're about $700 away from hitting the goal, which is crazy. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, if you're waiting, we got about 10 days left on the campaign. We got some great stuff here. We got, we're making issues 7, 8, and 9. And we have some awesome variant covers. Let me see, I'm trying to find them. Here's one of them by artist Steve Mardo. And then we got another one by Ryan Santos, my first painted cover, which is amazing. And then I also have this one, issue 9, which is a guy I went to school with by the name of Victor Gadaman. And so there we go. We got you there. I kept going without you, Johnny. What happened? What happened?
I was adjusting the camera, and I thumbed myself into the back button. And I go, oh no, I just lost the stream. But I'm back.
I was like, what the heck happened? I just, I was like, all of a sudden I was alone. It was weird.
It wouldn't be Wednesday without ICR and at least one technical difficulty.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I was just going over the campaign. I'm about $700 from hitting, and I got 10 days left. So
that's
I think
so awesome.
I should be able to make
so
it.
Far, dude.
Thanks, man. Well, you know what the great thing about Indiegogo? So I decided to do 30 days. So now, when I get to like day 9, if I haven't hit the goal yet, I could go in there and I could just edit it and do another 30 days.
That's way better than secretly sliding in with like $1,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of your own money
definitely.
Just to finish the campaign. Like many people do that, and it drives me nuts.
Oh, big time. How many people we know that do that?
I'm not even gonna get into that.
But I love that Indiegogo gives you that option. So I'm probably gonna do that anyways, even if I hit the goal. I'm going to be like, well, here's the end of the first 30 days, but here's the next 30 days. And I maybe offer a couple new items, that kind of thing. Kind of give it a little shot in the arm in the second half,
Yeah, which is great. I have to commend you because, it's just been a real tough year overall, and you're doing really well in the campaign. It was a little bit of a struggle. So, congrats on being able to, master through that, Yeah,
definitely. If I could go back in time right now, I would have made my goal like 3,000 instead of 5. You know, that way I would have already been there. You know,
right.
Live and learn. You know.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to just share. This is like hot off of Twitter. I just saw this a few minutes ago.
What happened?
They have a director for an Alterna comic that's being made into a movie.
Whoa!
Yeah, like have you heard of the comic series Trespasser?
I've not, but you'll have to fill me in here.
Yeah, so it was a comic book from Alterna like 4 years or within the first or second year that Pete started doing newsprint.
Oh, right.
But it got picked up. It got optioned for a movie. It's by Christian. The artwork was by Christian Rossi, who did like a poster for me in the last campaign.
Oh, cool.
It's basically, you would love this book because it's about a father and a daughter in the near future, and they're living alone in Alaska, and like an alien like lands in the woods, and it's all about the father protecting the daughter from this trespasser, you know, who just happened to be like this hostile alien, you know. And you see how that would make a great movie, you know. So
like a little bit of like Hannah, a little bit of like
Predator. A little bit of that, and they got a director, so this thing is going forward. So that's so cool, you know.
That's great. Congrats to those guys at that book.
Right.
Like, that's the dream for some people, right?
Oh my
Your book
God,
gets optioned into a movie or something.
Yeah.
Not the reason to get into comics, but if that happens, man, like that's so awesome.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, I think comics, you gotta love it, and then this is a bonus stuff. Like, if you can get this to another level, I mean, God knows, me and you've talked. Like, Surrounded by Death would be like a Shaun of the Dead type of comedy, and
for sure.
And Mighty Mascots would be an awesome friggin' like cartoon,
animated cartoon.
So, yeah,
it's gotta be a cartoon or claymation. If you can get like the celebrity deathmatch people to do Mighty Mascots as a half-hour cartoon.
Oh my God, that'd be great. Like Davy and Goliath, but like a superhero one, you know?
Oh, so awesome. And just make it like slightly like Ren and Stimpy, where it's like it's for adults, but it can be played to kids, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, so awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to highlight that real quick for everybody to check out. And we're going to get right into the show. So I'm going to start bringing in all the guests in the order they came in here. So first we got Gary Dumm. How's it going, Gary? Thanks for joining us.
How are you?
Good. And we got my old friend here, Mark Torres. How's it going, Mark?
It's going well.
Awesome. Great to see you as always. We got Peter Palmiotti for first time coming to the show. Hey, Pete. How's it going? Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hey. And then finally, my old booth mate from New York like a year ago, Scott. Scott, how you doing? Thanks for coming back.
Good. Now the technology worked.
Yeah, right. I'm glad you're able to reboot so we can.
Well done, Scott.
Camera.
Well done.
Yeah, exactly. So Mark and Pete have to be on another show at 10. But so I was going to kind of focus on them a little bit first, but before we get into things. But I just wanted to tell everybody, like, me and Mark go back. Oh my God, like 2005-ish. I think, Mark?
I believe we met in a Wizard
World Philly, the first Comic-Con I ever did, Johnny. Was 2005.
That's a throwback.
And you were doing the SWAS adventures with the videotapes.
I was still doing Hero Envy at that time, and that's what I was there for. I had no comics. We just had DVDs and Crazy John and all the other guys with us. And then we met Mark, and then Mark has a radio show. You still doing the radio show in Long Island?
Well, I'm still based in Long Island, but the station that we air on now, which is still an actual radio station, is in Westchester County in New York.
Okay.
But we're online more often than anything.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. I'm glad you're still doing that. It's great, man.
Yeah,
so I remember, he was like, come on the show, and you just got to go out to Long Island. So I'm like, all right, we'll drive out there. 3 hours later, we were, it was just like, we didn't know where we were going. We were in the middle of nowhere. Like, that station's in the middle of nowhere. And I just remember that, and that was a lot of fun.
1240 WGBB is Long Island's oldest radio station. It's still out there. Hey, Pete, why don't you tell about your trip to the station when you had you as a co-host?
Yeah, I was co-host for a while, and I was living out in Staten, taking the ferry and then trains, and it took me just over 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hike to get there, but it was worth it. I remember that show was really a lot of fun to do. It'd be funny. I should go back. I don't know if that's in an archive somewhere, but I'd love to listen to that.
I don't know if we have those far back. I'm sure somewhere I could find it. But that's what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to share with your listeners.
Oh yeah.
That because of you, because of you, you're being a guest on our show. Okay. I had to turn down Chris Carter for an interview.
No, Chris Carter, like X-Files, Chris Carter?
X-Files, yes. So he was coming out with the second X-Files movie. And I spoke to his people, and they were like, he wants to be a guest on the show to call in. I was like, yeah, fine. And he's like, yeah, well, he can only call in at this date. And like, well, it's already booked. I have somebody else booked, and that was you guys.
Oh my god!
And they're like, well, can he do something else? Can he do this? And I was like, no, we're a live radio show. You got to call in live. Sorry, Chris Carter.
Oh my god!
And he was like, well, can you kick them off? I was like, no, they were first booked. I booked them first. Yes. They get to be booked first. So, and then the movie flopped. So
it did. The second one was terrible.
Yeah, so I'm like, because of you, his movie flopped because he wasn't on our show. So well done.
Mark, you made the right choice anyway, though.
What's that?
You made the right choice, Mark. You got the bigger star.
Well, Mark, because of that, if you think about it, we became better friends, and then we went to San Diego in 2008. How many people we have in that hotel room? It was like beyond capacity, I think.
Guys, and then I had 3 guys. It was your 4 guys and then my 3 guys. It was 7 of us in that hotel room.
Holy crap. That's like frat room quarters.
Yeah, that was like people sleeping in the bathtub.
It was person sleeping in the bathtub. That's right.
Oh, it was crazy. In the bathtub. Well, the good thing is you guys were out all the time. Like I think you came home. You would come back at like 3 a.m. and just sleep for like 2 hours and then leave again.
Head back out again. Yeah.
So me and John, we were just like, we went to eat and we went right to bed. So it worked out pretty good. So
it really did, which was kind of crazy because just going back and thinking about it, like there was people on the floor and they was just like,
oh my god, it was
wherever there's a spot to put a person, there was a person.
And I loved was it John Guthrie? Was that the
John Guthrie? Yeah.
Yeah, do you still talk to him?
I haven't talked to him in years.
Oh my god, I love that kid. He was great, man. He was great. So yeah, I missed that. That was a lot of fun. That was like the first year we went to San Diego, and then
it was before it got all commercial.
Yeah, it was still kind of comics then.
Yeah. And first time going there was crazy, and I remember that we actually waited on the line to get in.
Yeah.
And at the time, New York Comic Con was just starting to bubble over and become a thing. And I'll never forget, the head of New York Comic Con was there, and he recognized me. He was like, "Hey, Mark." I was like, "Holy crap! The guy at New York Comic Con recognizes me."
Well, but what New York at the time was just starting out, right?
New York was just starting out, yeah.
And it was smaller, so like they were a little more personable then. Like you could actually. Now you can't go near those guys, but
he still is to me. He did say when we had him on the show, he was like, you're a little guy, and you helped us out when we were a little guy, so we'll never forget you. And I have to give him credit. He has always had our back whenever I reached out to him on the few occasions that I have.
That's awesome. That's good to hear because you always hear the opposite usually, Yeah. So, and it's funny that when I saw the Kickstarter when you first reached out, I was like, I think you at the time, you were starting this book, right?
That was the second. This now is the first closest we've ever gotten to making it a thing. That was the second closest we've gotten that close. It was almost there, and then it just went, and then here we are. What was that?
So what did you redo it? Did you start it once and then it kind of like fizzled out?
It was a bare start. It wasn't even a start. It was It was a deal that went south. And if you remember, I was expecting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you had like you had something lined up. I remember that. Like you had a deal lined up or something.
Yep, and that deal did not happen. That's one of the ups and downs over how trying to get this to be done.
Well, I mean, how many? I'm going back to 2008, and Johnny, you know this. Like you guys, Scott, you guys probably know this too. But like, how many flash in the pan small publishers were out around that time, like when
so many.
Oh my god, and they're not even, they last a year maybe, and it's like, so I'm not surprised, you had something and then all of a sudden the publisher's gone, you know.
That's like so the best example I can think of was Radical Press. They debuted and died at Comic-Con.
Yeah, that was the
Really?
walking the Night of the Living Dead guys, right? Or they were
Oh
making...
no. This was they were going to put out the comic book Oblivion, which was going to be the Tom Cruise movie. They had a couple of other titles that they were farming IPs to become movies, and they had this big booth, and they had this grand to do, and they just fizzled out shortly after that. Like you said, flash in the pan, right?
Yeah, so many flash in the pans. So now that that ended, and then you brought you were working on the book between now and then, and now and then, or
so. That book was 2008, so it actually was written and drawn back in the 90s, in the late 90s.
Oh, really?
And so it took me that long to get it that far.
Oh, no kidding.
And so we had to lick our wounds. I had to pull back, and then circumstances happened. Up, down, up, down, up, down, and then we went to another publisher and some other people, and finally we got to a point where pandemic hit. And the publisher I was working with, whom we have a good professional relationship with, but we split ways. Okay. He was like, "Yeah, let's do a Kickstarter because pandemic and Kickstarter, everything is great on Kickstarter." So I was like, "All right, if that's what you want to do, go ahead, do it." And about 3 months before, we parted ways, and then it was a discussion: can I do it myself?
Oh shit! So you had something lined up, and then they ghosted you, and now you're like,
it wasn't a ghost, it was an amicable split. Like we had a disagreement about how we were going to do the Kickstarter. Okay. And it was like, we'll take a step back to maintain the professional relationship we have, as opposed to going forward and just, burning all bridges and it being a pile of crap. Let's take a step back, no harm, no foul, and let's see what we can do. So it was a question of, can it be done? I was talking to Pete, because Pete's been involved inking the book since I gave him the pages 20 years ago when I first met him. And it was a discussion. Can it be done? Can it be done? And so I reread the script. Like, the script still holds up. The pencils were already done, 110 pages. And like, that holds up. Now, what else can be done? And it all boiled down to getting a graphic designer, a colorist, and a letterer. And I found through Hooker Creek, I found a graphic designer who works really well and was really super cheap.
Oh, nice.
And without her, this would not have happened. So she was a deciding factor. When you look at the campaign, she designed all that stuff. She's an amazing contributor to this project. Without her, wouldn't have happened.
Awesome. And so, Pete, how did you become involved? Like, are you and Mark friends going way back?
Well, I met Mark at a convention, small New York convention, in a church basement.
Oh, nice. Those are the best ones.
Yeah. he was showing me the art to his project, and I really liked it. And nice. So he gave me a script, and I took the script home and read it, and was really impressed with the quality of it, and told him I'd be a part of it.
Oh, awesome. And are you primarily an artist? Is that?
I'm the inker on the project, so Mark can tell you where the pencil came from.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, well, actually, let me take a step back. What is the Designated about?
Designated is a story that I came up with about 30 years ago about some aliens that are fighting over a crystal. There's a newly discovered power source, and the war finds its way to the planet Earth. And the good aliens, which is a classic green aliens with bug eyes, they implant the crystals into the heads, brains of humans, and they in turn gain abilities. And then this is what happens when the bad guys show up.
Gotcha. So you got a group of humans that are just given superpowers, and they're kind of like this is a trial by fire moment because the invasion starts, and
like just Wildcats vibes just from the description.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Let me share the Kickstarter so we
can
take a look at it. Let me see here. Hang on.
So Pete is if you guys are familiar with Aquaman, when he got the hook arm, he inked those pages. That's what Pete's most famous for.
Oh, really? Very cool.
Very cool, Pete. Pete, I know you had. I think you've had. Didn't you have Pete Cimetti on your channel not too long ago? On your YouTube channel. Yeah. So I have it in my queue. I want to listen to the interview on that soon.
Yep.
But yeah, like I've seen you around on the internet. I don't think we've ever interacted on any shows. So awesome that you're here to join us. But yeah, so let's take a look. So, what's that?
There's a delay. I followed your work for years, so yeah.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that. So tell me. So I'll let you guys tell me a little bit about this Kickstarter. Let me know. Tell people like what's worth, like what tiers, and as we go through.
Well, so basically, the story, as I mentioned, was written 30 years ago, give or take. Okay. The pencils were about 25 years ago, give or take. Okay. Pete started on the ink about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And so all the story is done. So this is for the first 22 pages. Okay. And we got Francesco, who is a Babe artist. He's most known for working on the Savage Sea Dragon for Image Comics.
Okay.
So that was the original cover that we had, but he wants to update it and tweak it a little bit for now. Okay. So that's not the final cover.
This is some of the interiors, right?
Yep, those are the interiors. Colors by Hassan Godwin. You remember Hassan? He was on a radio show with me.
Oh, yeah.
And and we have George Medina, who you've had on your show recently.
George,
he's doing the letter.
Our good friend George, yeah.
Definitely. He's doing the lettering.
Oh, he's doing the lettering for you. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And a friend of mine from high school, his brother was the one who did the pencils. This was, like I said, about 20-something years ago.
Okay.
So I was a friend of mine from high school, and his younger brother was like, "Hey, I'll draw it." So it wasn't even like he was an artist or anything. He's like, "I'll draw it." So this is his first and probably only attempt at ever doing comics, doing sequentials, and the artwork looks pretty darn good for his first time out.
Yeah.
It took him about 2 to 3 years. Took him about 2 to 3 years to go through it all. When he finished, he actually went back and I had him redraw a couple of earlier pages.
Yeah.
For the book, like that particular image right there. That's
we'll leave it on this one for the guys out there.
That's actually a new image that he drew after he finished the story, because his artwork was improving as he went along over the years. So when he was done with page 110, it was much better, his artwork, than it was when he first started. So I was like, go back and draw that. And then he went back and drew that.
Oh, very cool.
That's a lot like Surrounded by Death issues 1 and 2. It's the same artist, but if you look at them side by side, it looks like two different artists did it, and just he got better over time.
Yeah,
that's
because
that's true, Johnny. The art between 1 and 2 are so vastly different.
Yep,
but it's like the time thing, right?
Yep, time does that.
Yeah, but because Pete's the professional, what is it? The acclimate? No, that's not the word. He is the professional of all professionals. He's able to merge and keep the image artwork straight throughout.
Harry in our audience says it's pretty sad when I want to hump a drawing.
Oh, God love you, Harry.
Yeah, Harry's the best. So anyways, I'll have to throw a little jokes in there, So, yeah, tell me. So, it looks like, so this Kickstarter is for number 1. Is that correct?
So it is for the first 22 pages, but by some miracle, because of where we are and how much time we have left, if for some reason we manage to make certain stretch goals, because we have one stretch goal up now, if we by Guthrie make that stretch goal, we'll release the second stretch goal, and that would be issue 2. So you can get issue 2 and issue 1, or issue 1, 2, and 3, depending on how much we make.
Gotcha.
Like I said, it is getting down to the bare bones, so we're just gonna focus on getting it funded.
Big push, yeah. Big push is coming in the next how much time do you have left?
We got 5.
5 days.
So,
it's doable.
Week. Yeah, it's a business week, and we've been Pete and I have been hustling on many live streams. That's why we have. So
tell me this, because this is always important with a Kickstarter. Is how far along is the book? Is the book completed?
So all 110 pages are penciled. The story is done. The inks are done for the first 22 pages, complete. I think Pete's almost done with the second 22 pages. I know because he got a stack of pages and he just kind of randomly went through it over the years.
Oh, wow.
So some pages are inked from different issues, but I think the focus is on 2, right, Pete? Where are you at right now?
Yeah.
Pete?
Yeah, a lot of 2 is done, and issue pages of issue 3 are done as well. As far as I'm concerned, we're focused on issue 1, so issue is mostly done, lettering's mostly done. It's just a matter of getting the money from the campaign, shipping, and all that.
Gotcha. And
so I just wanted to echo something. One of the comments, DS Cartoon said 20 years is a long time to have a comic book made, but congrats on managing to get it out. Like that's really that's awesome. I know
30
how that
years.
can be a struggle to
30 years.
A little bit at a
30
time.
years. Johnny,
let me stress that it's 30 years, not 20.
Oh, is it
30 years.
That's
only
even
30.
more so, man. Like a long time.
That's great. And may I also compliment too that this thing was started 30 years ago, but look, you were already doing. You had a diverse cast before it was like the hip, cool thing.
Yeah, a diverse cast, a female lead star, which is. Because at the time, which is the 90s, everything was mega, super crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make a very small, subdued story against type. So the plan was to go against the type, but now I'm actually with the type 30 years later. So we can see how long it took the pendulum.
Yeah, now you look like it looks like you're copying the trend. I mean, whereas you were ahead of it,
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's weird.
But so what's the best perk for people that may be interested in backing the campaign?
Well, I'm sure Pete would say to get the 120 to get the original pages because we're sick and tired of looking at them all these years.
But you got original pages of art there too.
Yeah,
awesome.
All because this is all back in the day, done by hand, no digital stuff. Awesome. Pete inked them, and he'll sign it on the back. And actually, about that cover that's on the screen right now, that is Francesco's only time ever inked by anybody else, which is Pete is inking on his work because Francesco only does digital only. And back then, I think this was 2007 when this piece was made.
Yeah.
Pete was like, "Yeah, have him send me the pencils," and Francesco's like, "I only do digital," and Pete's like, "What?"
So this is the only piece that he did that was traditionally done.
Right, because actually I don't. How did you actually print that up? Did you print it up, or did you get the blue line? What did you remember? If you remember that, Pete.
I think we got a crazy delay there.
What was that? A little bit of a delay on it, Pete.
Mark is dying right now because he's in radio and this dead air is killing him.
Mark's having panic attacks.
Yeah.
DJ panic attacks.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with the phone there, but it's all right. We could have Mark walk us through it. Yeah.
Send me the pencil digitally, or I forget what. Yeah, just go.
Okay. Thanks, Pete. So, wow, you got custom made figures too. What's that all about?
So, hold this down over here. This little baby right here.
Oh, cool. Is that a 3D printed thing, or is that?
No, this is actually a clay statue, like you were talking about earlier with clay figurines. This is fully clay.
Oh, wow.
One of the guys who I've met throughout over the years for the show is a clay figurine specialist, and he was like he wanted to be part of the campaign, and he said that he would draw any of my characters from the book. Wow. And this is a 5-inch figurine, as you can see.
That's very
so none of this is painted. This is all
painted too.
This is not painted. This is actually handcrafted. So all the different colors are different colors of clay.
Oh wow, very cool.
And it gets baked.
That's legit what I was talking about, Keith. Having your characters done like that.
Yeah, right.
You should reach out to him. The links is in the description. It's Shadow Rabbit Art. He loves doing that stuff, and as he's told me many times, he'll do anything as long as you pay for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to see. So how many of those did he make? Is it only one?
It's custom made. So if you back it, you're like, I want.
Oh,
Natasha.
So you'll just have another one commissioned if someone backs it. I gotcha.
And you can do whatever pose, whatever you want.
Gotcha. So there's no limit then. If if you get 10 orders, you just hand him 10 orders and he'll make it. That's cool.
Right.
That's very cool.
That is awesome. That's something to think about, huh, Johnny, for future stuff?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's great for a top tier, like thing, like reward. You'd be surprised. Like even when I did the get illustrated into the book, I put it at a $300 price tag. I never actually expected people to, pledge on that. This is one of those things where you can take that kind of gamble and say, like, hey, check it out. You could also have something that's this premium. And I think people would jump on that.
Yeah, and like I did the same thing with my campaign. I did it at 200, get drawn in the book, and two people have already taken that up. So,
yeah, people dig that.
They do. They love that.
You never really know. You
never know. Yeah, that's why you gotta try and just see what sticks and what works, what doesn't. Because the crowdfunding is such a crowded place now. So anything you can do to stand out a little bit is always a huge key.
I think people like that interactivity with the project itself. When they can like buy their way into or integrate themselves into a book like that. I think people like that. Even like producer credits, people like pledging on that, even if it's just a matter of getting a credit and then backing and supporting a project.
Yeah, like it's a special thing. Like it makes the campaign special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And then he'll do a clay figurine battle scene too.
Yeah, so for the big
nutty.
For the big end, you can get either a 10-inch, a 12-inch, which is obviously bigger than the one I just showed you, or you can get a battle scene with all the main characters and the villain in one big diorama. Once again, however however you want it, he'll make it to your specifications.
Dude,
cool.
That's cool stuff, man. It's cool rewards that you picked out here. So let me just look through this. So you got the physical. Original artwork. That's a good price for original pages too. $120. Oh, you got a trading card. You got trading cards for this book too.
Yeah, so we have a Natasha trading card. It's down there a little further down.
Oh, Brian Kong. I know Brian. Brian's a good dude.
Brian, he drew that with Alex Rivera inks, and actually Pete is doing he's doing a card for the characters. So we're gonna, if we can get it in time for the next 5 days, we're gonna put up a trading card for all the main characters. So if you already got that, you'll get the other characters as well. So you get five trading cards.
Awesome, and then you can get like the PDF copy of number 1. You get
the
digital physical copy.
Physical.
Physical, $15, and you can just pledge and get a thank you, and back it because you believe it. Yeah, definitely. This is cool, man. This looks good. I think you guys are so close too. Like. You have 5 days, and what is that? Is that less than 2,000 to go? I think it's doable. I think you guys could do it.
It is. There's a story I always tell. A couple of years, about 7 years ago, I wound up trying to find this place called Kiva, KIVA.org. It's a really good place for if you have a small business. Yeah. It sounds too good to be true, but it really isn't because I did it. So they're a company where if you're a small business and it's a crowdfunding / loan type situation where you crowdfund for a loan and there's no prepayment penalties, there's no fees involved, there's no if you don't pay it back, you don't get penalized, but it helps your credit. And there's no collateral involved. So it really is something to look into. So I did it, and I raised, it was $2,500. I was doing $2,500 loan. And it was just like 30 days. You have to push. The only downside is that you can only give a minimum of $25. That was the catch. So if anybody wanted to contribute, they had to put $25 or more. So 30 days, it was getting close. The last 3 days, I made the money. So you never know. I've been through this before. So I'm not as stressed out as I think he is because I'm like, I went through all this already. So I'm just going to do the best I can and just keep on going.
I think as long as you guys, you got 5 days jump on, any YouTube you can, any shows, any podcasts that are live, Facebook shows, things like that.
We've been doing
you guys
so
could
much.
Do it. Yeah,
so
you guys
crazy.
could do it. And I understand why you double booked today. Hell, I did an interview right before this show. So I know,
because remember we were having difficulty getting you with our schedules with you and I.
Oh yeah,
and it's actually your fault, Johnny. Your fault.
Oh, is it my fault?
Because you were in San Diego.
Oh,
because we were gonna do it that Wednesday. And he's like, no, it's on Thursday. I'm like, what do you mean Thursday? The one day out of that month. And I was busy. The one day.
that was a tough one for me too, because I had landed that Thursday morning. I had to go over to Terrificon to set up, and then I was on the show that night by the grace of God.
Yeah, and we got to get an intervention for Johnny, Mark, because Johnny, he did like 4 conventions in a row that month. It's like after one, I feel like I'm 1,000 years old, and like this guy, I don't know how he does it.
I feel like fucking Methuselah, kid.
like with me and you, Keith, that when we were in San Diego that week, by Sunday I was dead. I didn't care.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even stay for the rest of Sunday. I was like, all right, I'm out.
Me and Samino were ready to sell our company on the airport that Sunday on the way out of San Diego. They were like, "Here, anyone want to buy our company? Like, we're just done." Like,
And you don't know if you remember, but I drove to San Diego, so I was.
Oh my God, that's even worse! Holy crap! I have fond memories of that year though. That was like I just got back there like a year ago, but that first time going was like huge. It was just a lot of fun. Got to meet some really cool people that I never would have, that I'll probably never get a chance to meet ever again. So like the biggest one was Don Bluth. I got to meet him, which was huge. That was cool. That was huge for me, being like a huge Dragon Slayer guy growing up. So I geeked out with him for like 10 minutes that year, And the other cool thing about that year is because it wasn't so celebrity yet. There was a lot of celebrities just walking around, chilling out on the floor. You don't see that much anymore at that show anymore, now. But like I bumped into Alex Winters, just hanging out with his family, and I was just like, oh my God.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, I was just like, and I didn't bother him too much, but I had to tell him I loved Freaked. So
Oh, yes.
So I
about that.
Yeah, that was a great movie. But anyways, so that was great. So, but yeah, anything else you want to tell our audience about the Kickstarter? Like, definitely the floor is yours if you want to just tell people what's so great about it. Tell us a little bit about the characters, things like that.
Well, yeah. If you want to pull up that main image, I can tell you all their powers, because that's something that's always a good selling point.
Yeah, hang on.
One of the things I did my best.
You can even
about
do
the
the video if you want. I don't know.
I've talked enough about that video.
Oh, okay.
The video, you can actually play it with that sound off, because it shows all the pages that I'm just going through.
Cool. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, just hit the mute when you hit it. And
but there we go.
And so that was one of the things. Just to do this, I had to get my graphic designer on that, because this took so many takes to do, and I had to do it in one take. I know what the hell I was doing. It was crazy. But but like I said, it was done back then, so everything was very low key, a very subtle story. The majority of the story takes place within a day. We have lots of flashbacks, and I did my best not to talk down to the audience. Okay. So a good example I would use would be Primer, the sci-fi movie, time travel. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh yeah, that was like really made with like low money, but it was really cool movie.
Very indie, low budget. 2 guys in a garage create a time machine.
But it was great though. They did a great job.
Hated his second movie.
But they never went.
Second movie.
Upstream Color.
Oh, I never saw it.
That was boring on wheels. But Primer, great movie. Highly recommend it.
Nice.
And so the thing is that they went out of their way not to talk down to the audience. They said, this is what's happening, and everybody reacted accordingly. So there wasn't like, the time travel strength. They didn't talk about any of that. They didn't dumb it down. They didn't have like an exposition guy. They just kind of explained it when you needed it to be explained. So you kind of have to think about these people, get powers, abilities, without any instruction booklet. They don't know why they get powers. And if you had powers, you really wouldn't know the extent of your powers. Like, you wouldn't. You just like, I have powers. Stuff is weirdly happening around me. So these guys
unless you had time to train, you're like thrown
even
into
still,
this
let's say you have a power right now, right?
Yeah.
Super strength. You're really strong, but you can breathe underwater. At one point in time, you're going to be like, well, let me stick my head down this water to see if I can breathe underwater. You're just not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Or would you even think to do that, you know?
Exactly. So while the powers are defined, I know what the powers are, and I can explain what the powers are. They don't know what the powers are because there's no basis of frame reference for it. So it's consistent in that way. Like I said, I don't talk down to the audience, so there's no point in time where I say, well, you can do this, and you can do that, and you can do... No, there's none of that. And it happens all kind of quickly, so they don't have time to talk about what they're doing, what they have. So we have the main characters, which are, once again, written in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So you have the female. She's based off of Britney Spears. Her name is Natasha Ashe. She is actually, if you want to go down to the main cover image, I can go around the little circle thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's based off of Natasha Ashe, which was a girl who I knew in grade school. She was my first kiss. She's based off of Britney Spears. All-American, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. She has the ability of enhanced gut and instincts. So basically, everybody has that voice in your head that you hear and you never listen to. Okay. Hers is much more accurate, and she listens to it, and that's it.
And it makes her stronger as a
it makes her strong as a person, but it doesn't make her. She's not physically strong. She just makes better choices.
Gotcha. She's got a really good sense of intuition, right?
Yes, exactly.
Women's intuition. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
So what is bad luck but being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and good luck is being at the right place at the right time. So her ability gives her the option to get into better places and situations, and that's it. But you don't. I mean, if somebody said you had that ability, you wouldn't even know what that meant. Just stuff is kind of happening to you.
Yeah.
So that's how that goes. Then we go up a little bit. That would be Adam, who's based off of Adam Park, my favorite Power Ranger from the Power Rangers. He was Adam from Power Rangers, and that's why his name is Adam. Gotcha. He has upper limit human strength, endurance, and speed when under duress. So, for example, if you're trying to catch a bus, I'm sure everybody's been in that situation, trying to catch a bus, trying to catch a train. He can run as fast as Usain Bolt, who is right now the fastest human alive on record. But you wouldn't know. You're just trying to catch the bus, and he'll catch the bus. So he has that ability when under duress. So he can't turn it on, can't turn it off. It's just when he's under stress, he'll be able to do that. He does kind of look like Dean Cain.
Yeah, Harry said he looks like Dean Cain.
Paging Dean Cain, we have another superhero role for you.
Right.
we move up to Kelly. She is named after the actress Kelly Hu, who I had the hots for back in the 90s, if you remember Kelly Hu. Lady Deathstrike in the X-Men. Yeah. She was based off of her look, was based off the Olsen twins at the time, and she is a 16-year-old female teenager. So what they are? A big bag of emotions. So I figured I'd give her an emotional power where she can absorb the strongest emotion in the immediate area and redirect it into everybody else. So, for example, there's like a bar fight and somebody's getting really hurt, really scared, then everybody will get really scared. But once again, she wouldn't know why it's happening. She would just get really emotional, and everybody else would get emotional.
Then we it's like a human black cloud. Like you can, that's great.
Yeah, actually,
like the Debbie Downer, like as a superpower.
Instantly, yeah, exactly. It's great.
Or it works the other way, like if
or you can make everybody happy.
Where everybody is hopeless, and one person's like, we have that hope, and it's the strongest emotion. She can get that hope, and then inspire the other ones the same
everybody.
way.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
We all have I think we all know somebody like that in real life, though. That like they kind of like if they're down, everybody's down. You know.
Yeah,
we know a few at Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
Got a bad table, you know how it is. Bad neighbors. Yeah. So then we have the African American guy. He was a black guy back in the day. His name is Chris. He was my friend, my oldest friend, Chris. One of my oldest best friends would be Chris Hughes. He has super mega memory. I think it's eidetic memory is like a real thing that people have right now. The actress Marilu Henner has it. That she,
like where she can kind of remember like you give her a day in like 2002 and she can tell you exactly everything that happened that day.
Right.
That's crazy.
Wild.
So he has it one step further. So for example, if you were to give him a dictionary and go, here, read this, he can remember everything in the dictionary, but it doesn't necessarily make him smarter. It just makes him that he's able to remember stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I got the idea from there was a TV show in the 90s called John Doe, where
I remember that.
He just knew stuff, but he wasn't super smart.
But he didn't know his past, and he like had crazy past and all that. Yeah,
that rings a bell. Yeah.
So that's where that idea came from. And then we go down to Ed, which is a 5-year-old boy, and his look was based off of the movie Godzilla's Revenge. Remember the little Asian boy? He had a little baseball hat and a little shorts. Yeah. That's where I got the idea of what he would look from. So he's Adam's younger brother, and because he's 5, he has the strongest powers, because at that age you don't know how the real world works, so you kind of in your own mind, your own reality, and therefore it affects his mind differently. So he has the ability to, hey, Mr. Science, something like that. Yeah,
that's great.
He has the ability to astral project, but only when he's sleeping. So he has to be asleep to astral project into other people's dreams or into real life. So if you're awake and he would appear for you, he's actually sleeping. And then he has the super mega power, which is he's able to manifest physical items out of his out of thin air. So, for example, if he's trapped in a box or something, like a glass case, he can manifest like a bat or something to break the glass, that kind of thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
that's cool. A great trope. That reminds me of, like, remember in A-Team, they always had to drug B.A. Baracus to get on a plane?
Yeah.
It's like that's a real great trope. It's like, oh, we need you to astral project. Somebody's got to knock him out, like, over the head.
Would you really go around knocking out a 5-year-old kid? that raises so many more problems. That's child abuse stuff going on right there.
Prime chop him in the back of the neck. or
He just judo chopped the poor kid.
So let me.
We do not condone violence to 5-year-olds.
Yeah,
no, right. We don't.
I'm gonna share the link in the audience.
Unless there's snot-nosed brats.
So if you're looking for like a fun, I don't know if it would you describe it as fun or like a serious,
fun 90s type of vibe, very subtle
superhero comic.
Very, very low key. That's the point. It's very low
superhero
key.
Comic featuring real people that happen to be more of like a bystander in this. Like they accidentally get
stuff
powers
happens to them. And
whoever said Misfits of Science, that's a real good example.
Or even like something like Heroes. Like remember that show? Like something like that where it's just ordinary people.
Yeah,
but even still with Heroes, they kind of went overboard with the powers. This is very low key, and like I said, I really do my best not to talk down to the audience. So a lot of stuff happens that just kind of happens. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. There's some aliens. How do you react when there's aliens? You get the hell out of there. That's
yeah. Like you don't take them head on when you
right. Like let's get them, guys. No, let's get the hell out of here. Yeah.
No, I like that. It's more of a realistic take. So check out The Designated #1. Sounds like the book is just about complete. So you would probably
first 22 pages. The letters are almost done. So, George is almost done with the lettering.
When do you think you'd fulfill this book? In a month or two? Once the campaign's over?
What's the rule? You under promise and over deliver. So I put December, but it's probably get it beforehand because realistically it's just the colors and the printing and distribution.
Yeah, so you're almost done. So that's all. People always like to hear that.
It's a good guarantee for people, for sure.
Yeah, so they want to know that it's like in progress, and it's not just like here's a couple like thumbnails that I drew for this campaign, So
exactly.
That's good.
That's why I went through all the pages in the video. It's like these are pages. Look, they're all ready to go.
Yeah, right. So that's great. So check out Mark and Peter's Designated #1, and if it does well, stretch goal would be #2, and then you guys are it's a 5-issue miniseries altogether, right? So you guys are planning on doing all 5 issues. So
that is the plan. But let's just get to one.
Let's get one going. We'll see what happens. That's perfect. Awesome. So I'm gonna let you guys go because I know you got to be somewhere else at like 10, right?
Yes, but now you can always say that because of you, Chris Carter's movie failed. So it's all on you now.
Well, Mark, I got to let you go because I have Chris Carter in the green room right now. So,
do we want plugs in before you guys go?
Yeah, definitely. Like, let us know where people can find you.
Best place, just type in "It Came from the Radio," Google it. Usually on the first page. We're on 88.1 FM WARY in Westchester County. If you live in that area, if not, we're on over 40 different podcast places.
Awesome.
We're on 3 different online radio stations. You can find us. Just type in "It Came from the Radio." You find us. Thank you very much.
If a creator wants to reach out to be on the show, just email you.
Actually, they can Twitter. You can email me at msc_studios@hotmail.com.
So indie creators out there, reach out to Mark.
Yeah, come. I'm very happy to talk to anybody.
Yeah, does help promote indie projects, and also take a look at his and help him out as well. Help him and Peter out. Peter, where can people find you? Twitter.
I'm everywhere as Peter Palmiotti, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Awesome. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I wish I could have you on longer, and you guys will have to come back when you got issue 2 going. Come back.
Absolutely.
And we'll get into it even deeper.
And I look forward to, when I come back, to watching the rest of this, to listen to Gary and Scott's thing as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, you guys have a good night, and good luck on the next show. Grab some water beforehand. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Don't forget to hydrate.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, normally, Scott and Gary, we would have everybody just talking, but I knew we needed to get to their stuff before they're double booked. They're in
but
that
this
last
is good
stretch.
Now we can kind of focus on you guys too. I got to read a little bit of that Amen today, and there's so much I want to talk about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, great to see you again, Scott. It's been a while. Thank
you for the support.
Yeah, of course, man.
Again, it's great to see you guys. So
yeah, definitely. And nice to meet you, Gary, as well.
Good to meet you, Gary.
So, Scott, first thing I want to ask, are you going back to New York Comic Con this year?
Yes. I was going to ask you the same thing. Yes, I'll be there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I put in, I haven't been pursuing it, but I did ask to go, to get a small press booth, but I haven't heard from them. So at this point, I'm like, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll just go back next year, So we'll see. Are you in the same spot? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But to be honest, if you need an extra ticket, my brother can't go every day. So like Thursday or Friday, I might have an extra ticket.
Oh, really?
If you want to hook up. So
yeah, no. Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if I would drive down just to go to the show.
Okay.
I would want to probably vend. So
I'm just saying.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, it's still a possibility. It's the end of August 24th. So I could hear from them next month, and
that's the thing about Read Pop 2, and it happened for C2E2. Is like it's 2-3 weeks beforehand. They're like, "Hey, we got open spots now." It's like,
right. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta plan at the last minute,
Yeah, right.
They did that to me for Artist Alley at C2E2, and it would have been a real pleasure to do that again. But it was right in between 2 horror conventions and trying to get Amen done, and I was stressed out enough, and I was like, I can't.
Yeah, it's a lot of money too, like to just the whole weekend. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like,
and my brother lives in New York, so that's what makes it
worth it. Yeah, like because you're there, half of it's for a visit, and then half of it's actually to be at the convention. Like I get that. Like as I'm getting older, like the doing the multiple day shows has become less appealing to me now. Like I'd rather have that time to work on stuff. So that's huge. So that's awesome. So how did you and Gary hook up? Have you known Gary forever, or?
I wouldn't say forever. We're both very proud. We're both very proud Clevelanders.
Oh, good.
I mean, Cleveland runs through our blood.
Nice.
And
there's something in the water.
Well, that's great.
In Cleveland, Gary's. In my opinion, who doesn't know Gary from American Splendor and all kinds of other things, and it's. He's the nicest guy in the world, and being that he liked this idea and worked with me, it's an honor. Any comic artist, writer, anybody in the country, it's an honor to work with Gary with what he did, and being that he did so much I always say it's mine and his book. We basically came up with a story. I had an epiphany driving through rural Ohio. Gary was the first person I called, and we're both of the same political
leanings. Yeah.
Leanings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to do because I try to stay. I try not to be too political on this show, just because it's like
we keep it neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, we try to keep it neutral, but it's hard not to talk about it with the subject of your book.
When it's wonderful satire, like what I read so far, it's just like
so you
it's
have
hard
looked
to
at
avoid.
it.
Yeah, I have looked through it too. And I didn't get to read it, but I look forward to reading it soon.
I think Cardinal's my new favorite.
The one thing I love about it, Scott and Gary, is that looking through it, I felt like it was like what I consider like a true independent comic.
Yes,
like
100%,
like the Harvey Pekar stuff, or even like Peter Baggs' Hate, and Ghost World, stuff like that. Like I really felt like going through it. This is
Milk and
what
cheese.
I think of when I think of true independent comics, especially from like the 70s and the 80s. So bravo to both of you guys for that, because that's what it felt like to me when I was just looking through it. And like I said, I can't wait to read it. So I just got to get a few minutes of time to actually sit down and read it,
If you like the pictures, you'll like it even more with the words.
Okay, I like that. That's great.
For sure. I love it.
Yeah.
If you can, let us know what you think, because it's you were like one of the first people we sent it to the
really?
draft, the finished
draft.
Oh,
thank you.
I
awesome.
just
feel honored that you guys did that.
I just went through the proof I got back from the printer, and it looks good. And I sent in for the first test print.
Okay.
Maybe an hour before this podcast.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it's very, very new, and what you guys think. I mean, I me and Gary love it, and that's all that matters. But I like you guys, and I think we think it's good. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope everyone.
Well, I kind of subscribe to that creative process as well, as that I make all my books for me, and if other people happen to like it, like cool, I found like-minded people.
Right. Exactly.
48, 49. 47% of the country is gonna hate it.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's what me and Gary are going for.
You won't like this book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, hopefully,
if you lean.
Yeah, right.
You are gonna hate it. So,
but I also think there's that message there, but I don't think it's good satire. It's like if you have a sense of humor, you won't find offense here. You know what I mean? It's just really good satirization of some of the more just craziness, wilder things and that's what a good comic. That's what comics then did, is they took what's happening in real life that seems so bizarre in reality, and you're just satirizing it and
even like entertainment and like movies and stuff. Same thing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I love some of the creative choices you made too, with like some of the stuff looks like it's almost like from the hand of like a kid talking about it in school. So there's definitely varying styles in the way each character is presented, which I really enjoyed as well. It kind of broke it up a little bit.
That's you. That's your art.
Oh, is that you, Robert? I don't think you mean it. No, please. I thought creatively that was a choice, and I kind of like that though. So I don't mean to demean that, but I think that's really cool.
No, thanks, John.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't wait to read it. It does look like it's like a great satire. So bravo to you guys for that. What's the plans with the book? Are you gonna print it and then try to distribute it?
Yeah, it'll be in bookstores in Northeast Ohio. Gary and I have books. We have connections throughout Northeast Ohio. A real special. I mean, to me, it's an honor. Last Gasp is going to distribute it, and so they're going to promote it to this Last Gasp in San Francisco. Like the legendary.
Yeah, that's great.
And have it at conventions that I do. Gary will have it. Awesome. Gary will have it. All the other artists involved are going to have the book. So
now, are you going to try to do like diamond distribution? I remember I sent you all the stuff. Oh,
yes,
perfect.
Yes, that too.
Send it to them. Like I think why not? Right now is the best time to try to get into diamond because they need content. So why not try it?
I don't see how they could say no. I mean,
right.
I'm really proud of it. And
is there a crowdfunder planned or anything like that, or
if they don't take it, Scott?
That was an idea Gary suggested, and I didn't have the time to manage it, and so I'm just paying to get a bunch printed and go from there.
I was just going to suggest there's a new platform out there. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, Keith. I was just going to say there's a new platform out there called Zoop, which I've been kind of circling a little bit. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. But it seems like it's a little less of the bells and whistles of having to manage tiers. And it's more of like, here's the book, here's the number we're getting to. And then it's like kind of a little bit more nitty gritty. And it just seems one of those things where it's like one of those new platforms that, sometimes at the beginning it's taking off. So I don't know, take a peek at it. You never know. Maybe something like this would really work in that platform.
It's
not like if you're more concerned about audiences and stuff, the audience that you're counter programming against would not be on there. It seems, you know what I mean?
Right. Gary, I loved American Splendor. Adam Warlock says that's awesome.
I did too.
It was a great movie. What I was going to say about Zoop too is they take out a lot of the headaches for a campaign, so they take a bigger cut of the profits, but they do all the promoting for you and they do all the fulfillment for you. So
check that out.
It's something to think about. And like if you're looking for a bigger cut of the money, you might want to go with a bigger goal and then think about it that way. But a lot of people are trying it. It's more of a curated crowdfunding. Right. But my problem with it is the name is horrible. Like, it's like, Zoop. It doesn't even. You don't even think it was like. Is that some kind of like?
It sounds like a PC game from the '90s that everybody forgot about.
Like, like some kind of weird kids toy or something.
Personally, I like chicken soup.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 100% right, Gary.
I was gonna say it sounds like the way my Italian aunt would say soup.
Yeah, right.
You want some soup, man?
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, I think the content and the artist involved. I mean, I would like to more focus on Diamond and getting it, distributed.
Yeah, I think you got a good shot. Just like I said, the best thing you can do is follow those instructions to the T. Because usually that's do that and then take a shot. Why the hell not?
But the other thing I can see about, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Scott. It was just like one thing, like, if you were going to do the crowdfunder route, and this was just kind of me thinking in advance, it's like, I want the collector card set of all these characters. Like, I want the Colonel.
I know.
I want Cardinal, Hal. Yeah. I want all these cards. And like,
why not?
I was thinking that idea from the last thing. I'm like, damn it. We should have thought of that and did all this. I mean, that would be so cool to have action figures of these characters. And
right.
Who knows, Gary? I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
I just think a trading. Oh, I'm sorry, Gary. Go on.
It's all right. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate that you actually read at least some of the book and know the characters' names. That's really appreciated. Here in Toto is appreciated, but that's originally so.
Oh, no problem. I really enjoyed reading it. It actually transported me to my teenage years a little bit, and I think any good literature should be able to do that. Kind of make you, give you feelings or make you feel or remember something specific. So you guys definitely imparted a little bit of that on me, you know?
Yeah, it's great. So I was curious, like, is the Cleveland comic scene, is it as cool as I think it is?
I think it's pretty cool, although, it's somewhat limited.
Okay.
There are other artists like Aaron Lang and Jay Kelly who are both also doing good stuff.
Okay.
So if you don't know those names, Google those fuckers.
Okay.
Durf.
Definitely will.
Durf just won. I mean, he's won. He's won every comic award you could win this past year, right,
Really?
Gary?
That's why I didn't mention him. He's omnipresent.
Oh yeah, sorry, never mind. Forget about Durf. He's got enough publicity.
Well, you always get that feeling. There's like those pockets of cities and stuff where, there's a
Superman
cool,
was born there.
Right,
Superman
yeah,
was born in Cleveland. Of course, it's a good comic scene.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's why
Cleveland rocks.
Yeah.
I repeat to the extent I may be very redundant. There's something in the water.
Yes. That's great. Send me a cup. Send me a cup,
Water and gin.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. And Scott, you still doing remember last time you were on the show you were doing the park ranger thing. Is that still happening?
Oh, yeah. That's what
awesome.
That's what pays for the book.
Yeah. Hey man. That's what we do. I mean,
that's
it's
what
creators.
pays to get the book printed and stuff.
Yeah, hell. Back in the day I would take half of my paycheck and just send it to the artist, so but I always treated it like because I don't drink all that much, and I would always say, well, here's the money I would have spent at the bar, except I'm paying an artist, So that's how I kind of funded a lot of my early books.
That's why we're a good pair.
Yeah. Exactly. So how long has this book been in the making? Have you guys
oh my gosh, Gary.
I know you were still working on it the last time you were on the show, and that was about a year ago, right? Maybe even longer.
I'd say 2 years.
2 years.
So pandemic. It was kind of a pandemic baby.
It was kind of a state of the world baby.
Nice.
Nice.
I mean, I just sent in questions for and Gary and I sent in interview questions for the local Cleveland paper, and I said, art is a release for my anger and frustration.
Yeah.
Which nice, Roger. It's a release of frustration and anger on what's going on in the world. And I won't get into it because you don't want to be political, but this comic is absolutely that. And
well, see, that's what good art is, though, I would say, even, not even comics either, everything, music, movies,
But it started from the past administration, and I kind of worried that it's taken so long. Is it going to be past its? Is it going to be?
Does it have a time limit?
But look at what's going on. It has not.
Right,
Unfortunately, it has not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'd say you just release it out there and then see what kind of response you get.
Like I said, you made it for you guys, and if other people
exactly,
like it, you found people who are like-minded. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's
and the consistent opposition of good to evil is the essence of everything from the Bible to every new comic book that you read.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, definitely. You can boil down almost every story in human existence to that, So
good versus evil.
It's a story. People like stories.
Yep.
And in order to have a story, you have to have a protagonist and an antagonist.
Yep.
I didn't see too much of that in American Splendor, but you see it everywhere else.
Yeah, right. That's true. So how did you guys initially meet? Was it years before this, or was it before the comic?
There's an art scene in Cleveland that I've done everything that I can do through the years to try to buoy up to make comics be considered as fine art. And whether I've succeeded even a little, my wife and I have both done that. We also do collaborative paintings, and I will just make one short little plug for us.
Yeah, definitely.
We did a series of acrylic paintings based on my ideas. My wife then does paintings. We call them our Environmental Monster series. Nice. And they're about current events. They're about climate change. They're about all the things that are going on that seemingly nobody cares about. I'm amazed and I'm undaunted. But the way I feel about it is I got only a few more years. I gotta keep doing stuff to draw people's attention to things that we think need the attention.
Yeah.
That's so gangsta. I love that, Gary. That's so awesome that you're like I gotta make sure that my word is known. I love that. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Go to www.dumbart and you'll see all of our good stuff.
Dumb Art. Okay, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I'm going there right now, Gary.
Dumb Art.
They're beautiful paintings, and Gary and Laura have been, instrumental in getting a lot of comic-based exhibits in Cleveland. I remember the Artist Archives of the Western Reserve show. I think you guys curated it, but there's a strong comic scene in Cleveland, but also, I think comics are finally regarded as fine art. They should be. They should have been 100 years ago, but how people are. But Gary and Laura are driving forces in making that happen in Cleveland, and I think it's a really good scene. I'm not an expert, but Gary and Laura's work is awesome.
Yeah, every chance we get, we push comics.
That's great. Yeah, I love that.
That's awesome. I love
specifically that indie comic scene too, like that. It's so. When I was in college and stuff, I love that. Like people just doing like zines and that kind of stuff. I just love that. There was a little bit of that going on in Boston. And I was at Kubert School in '95, and there was a little bit of that scene in that area, in New Jersey as well, and New York and all that stuff. So I just love that, that feel. And I don't see that all that much anymore around here anyways, So it's like, I'm glad it's still alive in these pockets, all across the country, which I love, so.
I feel the same way about the idea when I hear people saying, how can comics survive? Fewer and fewer kids are buying comics, although they may be playing games, etc. But for me, the aspect is this. Even if the major publishers would give up the ghost, I think there'll always be folks who have to express themselves in comics because it's such a great medium.
Yeah, definitely. I agree
well
with you,
put.
1,000%. And like you said, give up the ghost. I think that's going to happen really soon, and then it's just going to be the indie guys around, so.
It's kind of happening with DC. The characters are bigger than the comics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the comics division is kind of buckling a little bit. But, if anything, this gives a chance for people to divert their attention to more indie books.
Yeah,
they can discover Amen. They can discover Mighty Mascots,
And Surrounded by Death.
When you said that it felt like a real indie comic, I think Gary and I, from the beginning, we wanted it with the diversity of artists and styles. We wanted it to look like Mad Magazine, and I hope we.
It does look a little bit like
that. I was
that.
going to say cracked. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
It felt like if you took one of the cracked stories and you fleshed out the idea fully. You know what I mean? Like, cracked, you get like 1 page or 2 pages, and it's like, oh, okay, it's done. But you guys really fleshed things out and then interconnected it. And I didn't finish it all the way, but you saw how some of the characters are bleeding over in each other's stories, and I thought that was really cool.
The only thing you're missing, Scott, is like spy versus spy. You know?
Yeah.
Johnny, is there anything more cracked than reality?
Yeah. Yeah. You got that right, Gary. You got that right. Definitely.
I love it.
So how many artists are actually involved in the book, Scott? Did you count them up?
I have the original intro, the credits page, the first page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that credits page is long.
Sorry.
No worries. That's good. I loved seeing that.
9, 10, 11.
I loved seeing that it was handwritten too. It wasn't like typed or anything. It was handwritten credit page. It was so cool.
Okay, I'm glad that was cool.
Yeah, that's a lot to wrangle, though. That's a lot to wrangle. Some great comments, though, here from, first my wife, she said, human cultures have always expressed ideas with images. I think comics will endure in one form or another. Oh, yeah. I agree with her 1,000%. And then Roger said a live art scene, and you've also got a world-class Little Italy. I love
this Roger knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's Johnny's cousin. Yeah,
that's actually my cousin. So now when I know we're gonna get, he's gonna ask me. He's gonna go hit up Scott and Gary and ask what the best Comic-Con is in Cleveland, so we have an excuse to go out there.
Genghis Khan, right, Gary? Genghis Khan.
If it comes back,
If it comes back, yes.
Now, is that an indie con or is it like a regular Comic-Con?
That's indie.
Oh, see, I like those shows. Like I did up here in Harvard, they do Mice every year, and Mice was a really good show, but it's very, very hard to get into.
It's like SPX, which I got coming up.
Yeah, it's like it's probably second to SPX or one of those kind of shows. And I did it one year and I loved it. I just loved the whole vibe of the place. And
there's one called Space in Columbus that I'll do next year. And
are you doing SPX, Johnny? Are you going to SPX?
I am at SPX. Yeah, that's the.
Are you going to do that one, Scott, or Gary?
17th and 18th?
No, I mean I didn't apply because the book wasn't done yet. Next year I will.
Yeah, you should. I bet you'd clean up at that point.
Next year, I'll do everything because I did Steel City 2 weeks ago, and I was hoping to have the book for that. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's I'll try to get into these other ones.
Well, hopefully you don't run
I will in Columbus, but also there's the comic, the Billy Ireland comic Cartoon Museum at Ohio State, and I think Gary and I have our art there and books, and I'll donate Amen to the museum and the library in Cleveland. To me, it's an honor to me more than like getting into exhibits or whatnot. Having your books in libraries for kids to take out.
That's huge.
Cool. So now is this going to just be one issue, or are you guys going to do some more stuff?
We'll let Gary answer that. I don't know. Let Gary answer. Gary is so busy.
You're just along for the ride, Scott?
I mean, we're both busy.
Yeah.
Gary is. Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
I'm sort of caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. I'm trying to do as much artwork as I can before I slough off this mortal coil. But I've also promised my wife that I'm getting rid of most of my book collection, which is like 40 years of collecting.
Oh, wow.
And I've been doing better at it. But damn, I had a bookstore come and take 75 boxes of books, and it It hardly feels like it made a dent.
Oh my god, it's amazing! Wow. I bet you get some great first editions in that. I
was gonna say you got your work cut out for you, Gary, huh?
Yeah,
I do, but it keeps me doing both physical and mental stuff, and that's good.
Yeah, I love that you're still making stuff, Gary. It's amazing,
I can't stop.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. I love that you haven't lost that drive. Like I often worry about that as I get older. Is like, am I going to still want to make this stuff? The
only thing that I can tell you, Keith, is this: I feel like maybe I've lost a half a step with my artwork, but I also want to continue doing writing. So it's sort of like my fallback position. If I can't freaking do art, I'll write stuff that somebody else can do art for.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. I love it. I hope I'm as productive as you are when I get to your age. I mean, I just, you're inspiring, Gary. It's amazing.
Just do it.
Gary and Laura.
Best advice you can get.
Yeah. What'd you say, Scott?
Gary and Laura and Scott McGregor just did I guess it'd be a graphic novel. Fire in the Tunnel, Gary?
Fire on the Water.
Fire on the Water, a true story.
McGregor and me and Laura. And it was published by Abrams a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really good.
May I say it's a fiction based on fact about Cleveland and the digging of the infrastructure underneath the lake by immigrants at the turn of the 20th century to bring fresh water to Cleveland. And that infrastructure still serves Cleveland.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up and try to get something.
Try your library. They got it. I know Amazon has it, but try your local library.
I'm a conspiracy theorist for local water sources. I always buy my water whenever I travel. Fun fact, in Massachusetts, they had wooden pipes up until the early 90s. So it's just like doing that little bit of research and just like I kind of got fascinated with it. So I put a tinfoil hat on, and then just hearing you talk about this project is totally right up my alley.
I love doing this show because I always find out different sides of Johnny's personality that I just never knew before. I love it, Johnny. I love it.
This graphic novel ties in to the black inventor Garrett Morgan, who's a Clevelander also.
The poster's right behind you. I should have looked at it, Gary.
Oh yeah, is that it right there? Yeah, hang on. Let me make Gary big here so I can see the poster.
Screw up?
Yeah,
Fire on the water, right over there.
Right behind you.
I love that. I love that you have all the artwork there too, Gary. That's awesome.
So
it's a good backdrop.
It lets me know what isn't finished yet.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know if I ever told Gary this, but during when we were doing Amen, Gary drew out some of the centerfolds. If you didn't see them yet, are gorgeous, and Gary just didn't have time to ink them, and so he asked me to do it, and I was like, "Holy shit! Are you kidding me?" Like I don't consider myself a comic book artist. As if you could see my character drawing for Reverend Hardon.
Hey Scott, I don't consider myself a comic book artist.
Oh come on, Gary! You are the epitome of a comic. You are the comic book artist, man. So Gary said, "Why don't you ink him?" I was like, "God damn it!" I'm like, I was intimidated. But at the same time, Gary, it was an absolute honor to ink what you drew on paper.
It's an opportunity, Scott. That's all.
I know, but I'm just saying it was an honor to, and thank you for trusting me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
you guys are already gelling as this awesome creative team.
Well, I mean, we've we've known each other for a while. This is our first, I guess, collaboration. Gary and Laura were in the first Cleveland book. Okay. And to answer your question, is there going to be another Amen? I would like there to be, but
or not even that. Maybe you guys work on some other aspect of
Well, I'm gonna work.
something.
I'm working on a second Cleveland book. I have
Okay.
a collection of all my horror, creepy, dark art, and this fictional bowling history book. But
Yeah, and you're more of like a traditional artist, would you say, Scott? Like,
I'm all over the page.
yeah, it's interesting, and it's funny how like comics is just like a little part of your artist stuff,
I would say, I would say it's as big as horror as,
Okay.
or I hate that. I'm not even going to use it. Art. I hate the term fine art.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like
It's you gotta
comics
put your
are
pinky
fine
up,
art.
as you say
Great
it,
art is fine art.
Yeah.
It's snobby to say fine art. It's like, come on, man.
It's got like that pretentious kind of overtones to it. Yeah, definitely.
But I just have a lot of interests, and maybe there's something wrong with my brain. I can't concentrate on one thing.
No, I like that though. I think it's interesting that you do all kinds of different art. You know what I mean? You're not just a comic artist. I love that. I love that thing about my wife too. Like she does all kinds of different things. So
I used to consider myself a dilettante because I had so many things I wanted to work on.
I love it. I
like that word.
Yeah, dilettante.
I like that
That's
word.
good. Better than fine art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Get the pinky up as you're drinking, That's exactly right up to there. Awesome. So what's the next plan? Like, so you guys have the book at the printer, right? Do you know when you're going to get copies, or
maybe the test copy in a week?
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Good, because I know like
this is news to Gary too.
Yeah, right. Well, I've been hearing like the printer thing has been a little tough for indie creators lately. Like the paper shortages and all that stuff. So hopefully you'll have it in time for New York.
That. Oh yeah, I will.
Oh,
I
good.
better. We're ahead of the game for that. But
oh, good.
I had to order other copies of other books through this printer, and they got it to me really quick. And there was so we'll be good.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to show like I I don't want to get struck on some of this stuff, but I do want to show a little bit of the artwork here.
Pull it up.
See.
I don't want to show Scott's art because that's horrible.
No, Scott's art's fine.
It's just like
a creative choice.
YouTube is very weird on certain images that get shown and things like that. So
page 17
really?
in the PDF.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There shouldn't be anything in this book that's
page. Check out page 17. It's actually a pretty good example. Right there.
I just wanted to like show some of the great artwork from the PDF that you sent me, and just so the audience here. So, are you guys gonna have this? Are you guys gonna have this available to sell on a website or anything after you got it printed?
I'll have it on my website. If Gary wants to have it on his, I'm gonna give Gary a whole stack of books.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely.
That's
look at how awesome that is.
Yeah, that's great.
That's Nicholas Gray, and that Gary did that. Those are the original character drawings that Gary
Reverend
did.
Hard on.
Yeah. Love it.
Take that, YouTube.
Yeah, right.
And Nicholas Gray just came out with a graphic novel through his crew with Crumb is in it. Robert Crumb is in it. And,
cool.
Cool. Very cool.
I mean, besides Gary being an Amen, we got Gideon Kendall, who's done some major comic stuff, and also it's pretty exciting. Keith at last year's New York, I met Dennis Kitchen, and he did a one-page thing.
Oh, did he really? That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
It fits in perfectly right before the plane crashes with all of our lovely Amen characters. Yeah. So it's I don't know, it's really pretty cool the talent that is in this book that makes it so special.
Was it hard to wrangle all those artists to do something, or was it just like more like a curation, like send it to me and then I'll find a place for it in the book, or was it something
I
like
mean,
that,
you know, it's people like the idea and they were willing to do it. And, you know, I said, you know, I'll give you like a stack of books to sell and keep the money. And it's just like, I don't know if that's a good thing to do, like to pay, you know.
Well, it depends. I mean, like you can find artists that'll just do it because of the love, and then most of them will give you a page rate if they're expecting some kind of monetary, you know, compensation. You know, so it depends. It's always a discussion with an artist, you know, on what
right.
they're gonna do.
I used to be very pro collaborator, and now I'm kind of like, let's do page rate. Just because it's like, you know, unless I really like the artist, then I really want to, you know, partner with them. But, you know, do a 50-50 deal. But I used to try to do all 50-50 deals, and I realized not every, you know, collaborator is somebody you want to work with sometimes, you know?
Well, then Gary and I were really lucky that all of these people were willing to just put in their time and effort for, you know, I mean, except for a stack of books to sell and they keep whatever. I mean, it's really, you know, I guess people like the idea, and that says something for what we came up with, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I'll if you guys want to send me both your websites, I'll put them up in the description of the video for when this is on the channel, you know, after it'll be live on the channel tomorrow. Or actually, even by the time we're done recording here, I think
we just have to make a tweak because I think we have a guest that's not here tonight on the title part. So
yeah,
we'll just have to fix that.
Yep, and then I'll make a tweak tomorrow, but I'll add your websites there. So if people watching this in the future want to get a copy, it'll be in the description below, so they can hit up your website. Yeah, definitely, and try to get a copy for it, or meet either of you guys at a show somewhere, you know, Comic-Con, and get it personally.
Genghis Khan, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Come back, we'll see you there.
Yeah,
that sounds like a cool show. I'll have to find out about it. When is it usually?
It's supposed to be, I believe, in October or early November, but I haven't heard a firm date.
Okay. Johnny, we should consider that.
We might have to take a road trip out there.
Yeah, we might have to go out
there. You guys would
man.
love Cleveland. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, there's so much.
Yeah, I believe it. I've always heard. Have you been there, Johnny? Have you been?
I have not. I've always wanted to go.
Well, you know, Roger wants to go, so.
I already know. Like he's already texting me, going, "Hey, when are we going to Cleveland? You have to meet Gary in person."
Yeah.
I have a spare room and 2 couches.
Nice.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that'll work.
And Cleveland is still here waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, so I'm gonna start wrapping it up. We're about we're 95 minutes into the show now, so I definitely want to. So, any last things you guys want to say about the book? Where can people find you? You know, where are you active? That kind of thing.
Go ahead, Gary.
I don't. I'm really looking forward to holding it in my hands, so then I really can promote it.
Awesome. That's great. That always makes it real, right? Once you have the final book, you know, I totally get that.
Give me a few.
I remember helping Harvey Picar move 10,000 copies of American Splendor.
That's awesome.
Into his basement storage area. Talk about fun.
Wow.
I can just imagine. All the swearing going on. Right? Sweating and swearing, yeah. How about you, Scott?
Just give me a few weeks, Gary.
Yeah, right.
Give me a few weeks, man.
Scott will be helping you move all the copies of Amen in there.
Yeah.
So, Scott, how about you? Where can people? Where do you usually hang out, or where's your haunts online? You know, are you
my basement
Twitter guy, or more on your website?
In my basement, working on creepy art.
Yeah, that's good. Better than being on Twitter. That's for sure.
Right before this, I was cutting out clowns for a Last Supper piece. So that's
my God.
Besides comics, that's my other,
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you, Gary. New York Comic Con, Monster Mania, I'll be at, but
okay. That's in New Jersey, right? Monster Mania.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In the big news is Gary Busey's sexual assault.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
That's the one I'm going to in November.
I don't think people understand how nutty he is. I mean, I'm surprised it took this long.
He's whacked me. I think he seems cool, but he seems whacked.
But he goes after people constantly. That I'm surprised that this is the first time that this has actually happened to him. It's nuts.
No, just amen. I mean,
check the description below. Like, I'll put their websites.
I'll send you an email. I'd love to hear more of what you guys think about it. If you want to send me an email, Donnie and Keith, when you go through it, I'd love to hear.
Let me see what he
more.
Awesome. I love it.
This is an illustration from my next project with
cool.
Scott McGregor, the guy I did Fire on the Water with.
Oh, great.
It's about his uncle's experiences as a POW in World War II. He was captured by the Germans at Bastogne.
Whoa.
Oh,
wow.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's going to be amazing. Awesome. I can't wait for that.
Can't wait to see more of that, Gary. When that gets further along, please hit us up. We'd love to have you back on.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, I would love to talk about that.
It's just barely begun, so yeah.
Oh, wow.
Exciting.
Yeah, so, all right, well, we're going to wrap it up. Do you guys have any last words before we close out this episode of Indie Comics Relay?
I just wanted to say thank you, Gary and Scott, for taking the time to come on the show. We loved having you. Looking forward to getting a finalized copy of Amen so I can get you guys to sign it for me when it comes to your convention in the near future.
Okay.
And
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for joining us. Johnny, you have anything going on in your neck of the woods? Any campaign updates, anything like that?
Well, just big congratulations on Jared Brown for hitting on Advent Dark, his Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he hit today, so right in the final hours. That's a book I wrote with him. So that's
awesome.
all. That's out there.
Congrats to both of you.
One thing we missed a couple of weeks ago is we lost Les Rosenthal in our New England community. So just wanted to say, every time I pass by him, there's always a shining face at a convention. So he's going to be, sorely missed. So I just want to, a big shout out to Les.
Yeah, definitely. And the last show I saw him at was Plastic City.
Plastic City, yep.
And that was like July 16th, and he died 2 weeks after that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he hosted a podcast up here in the New England area called Sci-Fi Saturday Night. He was just one of those guys you saw at every show in the New England area.
A staple of the New England
just a
area,
nice guy, very pro indie stuff, and always wanting to help people promote their projects, and just a great dude. And
Amen would have been his kind of book, I think.
Oh, he would have loved that.
That's
yeah.
cool.
There are some people who, although they aren't superpowered, they are superheroes in terms of the way they interrelate with other people.
Yeah.
And those are the people that we miss.
Yeah, I agree with you.
100%.
He was one of the good ones. And so and anything else, Johnny, from your neck of the woods?
No, and just congratulations on the success of your campaign, Keith.
Yeah, we're almost there. Less than 800 away to hit my goal. So
you'll get
I got
there.
10 days, so I should be able to do
Plenty
it.
of time.
Plenty of time, right? So check that out if you guys have not yet. If you're not sick of me talking about it constantly. I'm sick of myself talking about it. But Mighty Mascots 7, 8, and 9 is on Indiegogo, and that link is also in the description below. So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us for another exciting episode of Indie Comics Relay. Also, thanks to our guests at the top of the show, Mark and Peter, for jumping in. Check out their book as well. And me and Johnny will be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Indie Comics Relay. And until then, read some comics. All right,
be excellent to each other.
Have a great night. All right,
Thanks,
bye,
guys.
everybody.